All right, boys, we are live. I think. Okay, okay. So today, I think I'm gonna. If I could find a thing. Cool. So, writing a super simple embedded database. It's going to be super simple, nothing fancy. I've already written some shell code. Mm. This file has only 3 APIs for the time being, nothing fancy. And nope, nothing else. So I've written the test first, some test, very common ones. Let's just see if they are running properly or not. After db init, did I see anything? Do I see anything? I don't see my log. Well, at least the test passed. Well, let me try this one first. Well, it did pass, but I couldn't see the line. No problem. So the thing is, we'll be starting with the APIs first. So the user facing APIs are db init, read row, and write row. How is this going to work? I have no idea for the time being. In this, a simple implementation, and this is going to be our table, our db table. And what I'm thinking is that user should be able to create a table. Table is what is table going to look like? So yeah, exactly, this is what the table is going to look like. The table name, okay, data. So been a while. So the table is definitely going to have some name. The data that it points to, I don't know what the data is going to be. Yeah, so okay. So the first thing is, let's just conceptualize this. We have a table. A table is nothing but a collection of rows. And since a table is homogeneous, that means each row has a same type. So how do I enforce type in this, because this is generic? Row count, and I can probably have like max rows, and what else? So yeah, row max rows, row count, and yeah, so Okay, from type, what is the information that I going to need? From type, I'm gonna get the size. So size of row. So this is the row size. So this is the table. This is basically, this data will point to that table actually. The array. And this is what this is. Data is going to be that array of rows. Each row will have this type. What? Okay, but cannot. Okay, so by type, I know the size of each row. So this row size will contain that information. This is my row type, row count, the current row count, and the maximum rows that I can have. So this creates my table. So now, to allow user to create rows at runtime in C, I have to go to the macro route. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to keep them like a function, because why not? That's not creating actually, because create signifies there is some memory heap allocation is happening, but I don't think heap is necessary right now. DB define table, then we can define table. I'm going to ask user to give me the name, and what else? The name, the row type, that's why it's in Pascal, max rows. Okay, is this in the name, row type, and the max rows? Row type will basically give me the row size. Max rows I have to ask from user. What else? Actually, before I do that, come on, man, I should define it here. Like actually start by using the API instead of doing this. So what I'll do, I'll simply say db define table. My table is some rows, which is what is this table called? This table is some sensor data, dummy sensor data, or something along these lines. I don't know. Let's just call it easiest one, temperature table. The row type is the row type is simply temperature. I don't, and maximum number of rows that this table is going to have. As a user, I want like 10 things, and this defines my table. Can I do this? Yes. So what is the error? Expected identifier is type is specifier. Well. Okay, so this defines my table. Why am I calling this db in it? I don't know. Why am I calling this read row here? I have no idea. So what I want is okay, so first thing is this temperature is not defined, so let's define this thing. I'm going to only contain integer temperatures. Current temperature, what else? Some sort of id for this answer, I think, and this should be enough for this temperature dummy data. Row type would be okay. So at this very line I'll have this temperature table, and I can what next? I should be able to write into a row and read from a row, right? How do I do that? Let's just focus on very first thing, which is writing a row into this table. How is that going to look like? Just write this as a simple application, which is db write row. What I'm going to write, I want to write into my temperature table. What is it that I want to write? Okay, I want to write a row. Temperature row. What I want to write, I want to write this temperature row id is equals to 1 and temperature is equals to 100 degrees Celsius for I want to write this thing. Is this enough of an API? Cool. Okay, so the thing is, these are not going to be sync APIs. These are going to be async APIs. What does that mean? That means there is going to be some threads involvement. Write row. Should I call it write row async, or I don't want to color these functions. Well, I did not think this through, did I? So for first, so let's just going to add some request for this, right? Request. DB request write row or DB request row write. What the fuck? I don't know, man. I'm just staring this fucking code and I have no idea what to do. Well, I have a general idea. It is how the database is going to work. I have this general framework that I think in terms of, which is for any async things, it has to go into the queue. So the database will have this request queue where it will get these requests, whether it is a read request or write request, and the user will only know that the request has been posted successfully or not. After that, user will know about the status of the request via callbacks. That's the simplest thing to do. So what the database will do, database will read a request from this request queue, process it, and call the call the callback that the user has provided. This is the flow. So let's just code this and see how it turns out. So I have some broad picture how it is going to look like, so let's just refine it to the way. So I'll call this db request, which is let's just say user wants to write request. What this thing will contain, I have no idea what this thing will contain. Okay, so this information is not known, no problem. For the time being, I'll just simply put some dummy variable as 1 and forget it. Actually, this will contain, I think I know what it will contain. The first thing it will contain is which table the user is referring to, which is temperature table, and user have provided me 10 rows. So which row is the user is asking me to write this thing or read from this thing. So it is common. Let's just say it wants to write into this row index 0, and what is that data, or what is that actually row that the user wants to read into or write read into or write, or want database to write into the table. I don't know, man, just a row. So it's a reference to this. Okay, this tr. So now the concern arises about around these lifetime and the data ownership part. Like this, the user has to make sure that this tr lives long enough. This table is definitely going to live long enough because it's a static table, and but this could go out of scope. I think I'll handle it during the API operations. For example, let's just say user is calling the write row function, row API. So what this API will do, this API will copy this row into the queue. So this way the data will be copied. So the data is not tied to this pointer, to this address. Okay, let's see. So the row index that the user wants to write into, this is the row that the user want to write, and this is the table. So the table, the row index, I think this is enough. I think so. So I'll just send that this is my write request. Cool. I think this gives me enough information to code my database. Okay, cool. So I'll pick things from here, and okay. How do I comment things? Toggle command gc, toggle line gcc. Okay. gc. So I define a table by this thing. What I want is is that I want something like this. After this macro, I wanted to create me a db table, which is going to be a static db table name. What is the variable name of the variable? Name of the variable is going to be first of all, this table is nothing but db table. No, before db table. No, the db table. Okay, fuck it. db table has all these uh, fields, members, whatever they are called. So when I create a db table, I have to some name here, and then name is going to be what? This name. This is how you create this into a string, right? I don't know, man. And data is something a table. I don't know what I'm writing. Row size is z is size of this. I don't even know about best practices in this right now. Row count is going to be like current row count. Current row count is going to be 0, and max rows is going to be max rows. So this is how my table is going to look like if I instantiate this struct. But how do I do this with a macro? I can take help of ChatGPT, but I want to figure this out because it's because why not? Because I have done these things before, so it's just a matter of remembering it properly. Yeah, boy. So I know that this converts it into string, and this table I did not create this table, so let's just create this table. Static. This table is nothing. Array of rows. So this is that row type that the user has passed. I want to create the array of this. What is going to be? So I called it table already. Max rows are going to I explicitly made them 0. What am I missing here? I don't know. Well, sorry about that. Do we put this thing in the end of this semicolon or not? Nope. The formatter has removed it. Do I need the semicolon? I think not, because when I actually use this, I'll use this guy, and then I put the semicolon in the end. So this will get replaced by this text inside it. So what this is going to give me, it is going to give me something like this thing. So when I defined it with these values, okay, so let's just dry run this. It's going to create a static row type, which is going to be my temperature row, calling it table with the values 10 and marking it all zeros. Then it will create a db table with the okay, table name. You can use this that's tricky. How do I do this? Okay, so let's come down here. db table, I create a table which is of wait a minute, user has given me the name of name like this, like it's a temperature table. So if no, I'm thinking too much ahead, too ahead. What do I call this table? I can definitely, this is not the name of the table, this is a variable name, but I am putting it here as a name. Sorry about that, brothers. Why did I even put it a name here? I don't know, man. Name. Okie dokie. But it is higher than the recommended one. We recommend that you use 6800. Fuck off, man. Not going to use that thing. What is the stream health? That you use 1608. Excellent. No, I'm not listening to your recommendations. OBS. I can use this. Does this work? How does this symbol work in C? Where is ChatGPT? Preprocessor string preprocessor preprocessor stringify. That turns a macro argument into a string literal. Okay, this var is equals to this will basically say age and concatenate this, the age will be there. Okay, the argument is not evaluated, it just converted to text. Link trailing spaces or characters within the macro argument becomes part of the resulting. Combining with token pasting, you can combine stringification with token pasting if needed. What is it going to be? Where name is this? Angie? Okay, so you convert this into a string. Where value, what does that do? Temperature. So first thing becomes a temperature, obviously, because of this thing. Then value of this temperature. Which is value underscore temperature. Explain this to me like I am elaborate. RATE. Concatenates two tokens into one during macro expansion. Okay, so token pasting. Concatenates two tokens. Understood, brother. Joins two tokens together. So this is a token, this is a token, you just join them. Understood. Very well understood. So this is the table name. So I can stringify this and I can treat it as a token also. Okay, so here I stringified it, and now I can do this. So this will give me a temperature table. Now how would the user get reference to this? Because now I cannot use now I can't use this thing. Because the table name that is going to be created would be this thing. and I surely want to use this. I definitely want to use this. I definitely want to use this syntax. And if I am going to use this syntax, then I have to create these tables by this name only. Wait a minute, if I call this table, then whoever creates multiple tables, this is going to be conflicting, so I cannot okay, so now I can use this. It is table, whatever that name is. This is the name of the table. I row type, table name, table, whatever temperature table, temperatures. Okay, I can rename these things later on. For the time being, I have to think about this. So this settles it. This also settles this because I want to refer this by this syntax. And it's a string, so fine. This data points to this table, which is not it, which is in this thing. Now the size is definitely fine. 0 max was okay. So now let's see what we have. So when I write this thing, it's going to replace this with these things. The temperature row is going to create me some table, which is like this replaced by this, or yeah, so I created it here. And this is not going to be table, this is going to be called temperature table. I can sort of call it this, table temperatures, just for the sake of looks. First line is done. Second line, it creates a table of called temperatures, and do this. Name is going to be whatever the name is, which is temperature, so it stringifies it. Data is going to be table name, table is going to replace this with table underscore what token pasting, which is the name that it passed. The name was this guy, so it is temperatures. Row size is size of temperature row. Current row count is 0 and max rows is 10. I put semicolon in the end, and here is my semicolon. This is what it creates. Okay, if I am right, I should be able to create a table. Okay. Create does it include? It does not include that thing. That is why I'm getting that error. Hash include. Am I including by relative paths or what? Inside this thing, target include directories, which is inc. I've already included it, so I don't have to be relative, right? Yeah, I don't have to be relative. Why am I changing this? I don't know. db prv db prv. Okay, but it is inside source. I'm currently inside source. What the fuck? No, I'm currently when I do this, I'm currently inside a inc folder. I don't want to make dbprv a part of inc folder because inc is facing public APIs. Then I have to be relative for a time. I'll solve this later, man. What the fuck is the problem? Okay, not the problem. Okay, so this thing, it is a header file. Why am I including it in here? No. I made a mistake. That's not where it goes. If I want to use this db define table, first of all, I should not make it a small case because I want it to be look like function, but the thing is it does not return anything. So it should be fine. And first of all, function cannot be called like this. They have to be called inside some scope. VW and capitalize it. Oh. What does it do? I don't know. So thing is this has to go into the public interface, right? So I'm assuming user will be very wise and will not change this. But now I don't have this defined, so I'll have to include dbprv in here, and in that case I'll have to do this, which I was trying to avoid, but well, I cannot. Now this thing should be defined. Where else should I go? This DB table is defined. Let's just try to build some test here first. What is your problem? Expect a field designator such as dot field equals to 4. Haji. Okay, so this expands to temperature row. Temperature table. What the fuck? What did I do? VW. Lowercase. How do I do lowercase in Vim? Oh, nice. What? This expands to table, temperature table, static db table, temperature table, temperature table, which is 10, temperature table, which is oh, that's not good, brother. That's not good. You don't use this name. Oh, fuck it. Thing is, buddy, thing is, this name is conflicting with the I can do one thing. Call this table name and make it but if I create another same type of same row type table with different name, I will not be able to distinguish that. Will that work? Table name table. Name being fucking replace that, man. What the fuck, bro? You shouldn't do that. Let's just see what happens. Or I can call this table instead of what are you babbling about? Even macro redefine. कहाँ पे redefine हुआ भाई? db.h prv.h. No, then where the fuck is this defined? db define table. It's in the prv file and db.h. Why is it in the prv? I removed it from prv. It is not in the prv. Cool. So row type table db table name table data table. What the fuck is happening, man? Row size is of course max rows, of course. Now what does this thing do? So you create to me a no. Define table. You create a temperature row. You create a temperature row which is a table temperature table. Why are you calling it temperature table? Okay, because I named it temperature table. Cool. And then you create a db table which is temperature table again. I should not call it table, I should call it rows. So temperature like this is private, this is not going to be reference. So the only constraint I have is around this table guy. This thing I'm free to, so I can't base it on a row type because two table can have a same row type but with different table names. That's a possibility. So I have to be call it rows and I'm gonna call it will that work? Token pasting. So this thing will be oh, it does work. Okay, so it's been 1 hour. I should like कुछ हो ही नहीं पाता 1 घंटे में भाई. Should I start in Hindi? I don't know, brother. Maybe. maybe not. So you define me this thing, temperature table rows, temperature table, name is temperature table, data is temperature table. Where the fuck that table come from? I forgot to change this two rows table. Temperature table rows. First of all, this table thing is just giving me now it is fine. Temperature row, temperatures row, db table temperatures, name is temperatures, data is temperatures row size is size of temperature row count is 0. Holy shit, the tan equals to 10. How can this tan equals to 10? Max rows, buddy, max rows. You don't it's a text replacement. Fuck it. How do I fix it? I can capitalize it to indicate that it is going to be constant, so that kind of fixes it, and gives me some sort of semantics also. I don't know, I'm just trying to fix something. The table row type max rows. Cool, so this creates my table. Now what is the problem? Use of undeclared identifier max rows. Why are you saying this, brother? Where is it defined? Data PRV. I am including it in PRV. First of all, I should really try to build this thing. Ooh la la la. Previous declaration, भाई कहाँ declaration है बड़ी? Redefinition of this struct, which is in here. अरे यार. And file included from originally defined here, which is sorry, I cannot process. And that means this max row and row count, these are not the problems. Unused variable. SRC. test inc test test folder test src main and this is a test src main, not that thing. So but so would you work, buddy, right now? No. Native POSIX makes sense, I guess. Redefinition of struct db table. Let's check this PRV file, and why is it why is this thing this is bothering me? So the header file definitely has things. Can I do this and get away? West build t run. At least that error is gone. Okay, so inside a test, go one directory up. That is inc, and inside that inc we have db.h, which is this file or directory, which is this thing. Which makes sense. So I'll what is my current directory? My current directory is whatever this file is. This file is db.h. So go one file up, go into src. There you will find this thing called dbprv.h, and include that because this contains my db table. Appdef is db table, so that is fine. This thing says app private, so the src folder, the current src folder, include target incs, which is current cmake file, go one step up and include this thing, which is fine. I probably I don't want to do this, but seems like a hack to me. Control WD, DPF file not found. Fuck off, motherfucker. ओरिजिनली डिफाइंड हेयर, ठीक है, तो फिर प्रॉब्लम क्या है? Aren't these the same files, brother? You are going one folder up, then going src, and this is exactly the folder or the directory, whatever you wanna call it. Jeez, man. Am I missing something very naive? Defined but not used. Okay, I'll use it. And before that, I need to solve that error. Oh, did I put pragma once or not? Holy shit, man. चूतिया हूँ क्या भाई मैं? Did you mean? Oh, of course. Temperatures defined but not used. Table. Test EDB assigned to test suite EDB which does not exist. Okay. In definition of macro db.h720. What's the problem? I'm fine with unused variables. I'm not fine with that thing. It creates a temperatures row with 10 values, defines another db table with temperatures which I actually passed. Size of temperature row, count 0. And why is it crying? Test db assigned to set edb does not exist. But edb does exist, buddy. What are you saying? for the time being, db request, give me the header file. The request user is going to use the request, so request, what was that thing? Horizontal, how do you split windows? Vertically split this thing. Okay, min.c. First thing is table, which is of white pointer. Next thing is row, which is again a white pointer, and then the row index, which is the index is of this size. And you will take request pointer of type request, in the right I'll have to modify the data because the row I'll be using into that row thing. But I'm for the read part. No. For the read part, I'll the database will read that row and write it into this row that user has provided. For the write part, the data will flow from this row into the row of table. Okay, cool. So this thing is done. Temperature row tr id is 1, and this thing is create a data request. Why are you crying, brother? Use of undeclared variable temperature table. Okay, f this d e is. Okay, so this temperature row index is 0. db right index will motherfuck. Okay, so this is only the I think return 0 is fine. Check assert test loc क्या है? What are these things? test format evaluate your test is request is not null. Table is not null. Too few arguments. Why can't I do this? Why can't I just what was that another flavor? Assert message. And then the assert eval, that is a different thing. That might not be. DT this, that means भाई खुश हो जा. हैं जी. What? But is not used directly. हाँ तो हटा दो, क्या दिक्कत है? चूतिया मिस्टेक होती हैं भाई कभी कभी तो. Is a pointer. Did you mean this? Of course I mean this, buddy. Assert this thing, and final assert is my row type. Another thing that I want to assert is row row index should not is not null, and this is less than row index is less than max. Row index is less than max index -1 no. Request table max rows. Row idx is greater than current row index. लिख लेते हैं current row index. What the fuck man. Current row index is greater than max maximum, fuck off. कहाँ दिक्कत है भैया? मेंबर रेफरेंस बेस टाइप void is not structure or union. Okay, don't cry buddy. If I'm here, that means table I can define with this. Current row index is greater than maximum number of rows. Current row maximum number of rows. Control W. How do I close this window? Close all other windows. Quit a window. Yep. Control B. No. Okay. Why are you crying? I can pass write requests into these things and db init. Actually, ci this thing I want to see the value. What do you say, buddy? Of course you are going to test edb assigned to test suite edb, which does not exist. Too much information. नखरे तेरे नखरे मेरे. What the what? One test configuration executed on platforms, but one failed. Why did it failed? If I going to twister native POSIX lib API app handler dot test edb assigned to test suite edb, which does not exist. What the fuck are you saying, man? Suite edb just created the suite edb. It just expands to whatever that is. Okay, did I delete something from here? Of course I did. Sweet name. Okay, did pass. Means my compilations are fine. Well then, let's call it a day today. I think it's fine. अरे काका ठीक है भाई. Okay, so this thing is fine. I'm going to put some stupid commit message. It compiles. There is no remote. I'll put it on remote sometime later. For the time being, this does look quite good. Actually, let me put some asserts in here. नखरे तेरे. What? After all these asserts, why I can do one thing. I can create some rows, or sorry, a queue, and call it a day. Well, I'll do it later. Bye bye, boys. See you another time.